out in front of the grocery store where they were registering new voters and voted for the first time, and I'm trying to remember what election. I can't even tell you. It must have been in 1976, so whoever we voted for president in that year, can't recall. But it felt great.
The first time I voted, I was 18 years old, and I went to our fire department in town. And I went there, and I was one of the first ones in line, actually. And I was there early morning before I had work. And yeah, I went in, went out. It felt pretty cool, actually. You know, for the first time in my life, making a decision on who will be our elected leaders, and just punch through the ballot. That was before the electronic version, so I had the little thing, and I had to poke holes in it, and gave it to the guy, and they gave me the little sticker, and yeah, I went out my day, but it felt good.
The first time I voted was in the Nixon-McGovern election of the early 70s. I'm of the boomer generation, and I could have voted earlier, but the 26th Amendment to the Constitution was not passed yet, which said that I could vote at 18. So I wasn't able to vote in an earlier election and had to wait until I was 21. I remember that that was a very important moment in my life.
My first time voting, I was 18, and I was very excited and very intimidated. I generally get intimidated by new things, so I was. And I went to the polling place, and luckily somebody that I knew worked there, and so she sort of helped me through it, and I felt very empowered. It was very exciting.
So it was my freshman year in college. I just turned 18, and it was the election of Bush versus Gore, and I remember being really excited to be able to vote, and it being my first time voting. It's the first time I ever really listened to any of the debates on television. I really paid attention to any of the issues, and it really helped me to try to think about what issues I believed in and how I wanted to vote in that particular election.
So the first time I was eligible to vote was 2004, and so I do remember that it was George W. Bush and Kerry, and I remember being really nervous. I just remember feeling like there were all these rules when I walked into the polling place, and that I wasn't sure if I was going to do it right, or I remember not having a lot of information about what it was going to look like, and so I thought that I was going to get arrested or something if I did something kind of incorrectly.
My first time voting was when I was 18 years old, but I had been working in politics since I was probably 6 or 7, because my dad was a politician. So it was really exciting for me to finally be able to vote for the candidates that I was working for. And it was a big deal in my family because we all voted every election. You know, my dad ran in several elections, so it was an important rite of passage for me.
Hi, my first experience voting, I was very nervous, but yet it was exciting. I felt I had a purpose, and it was up to me to make an example.
As a rabbi and as a child of Holocaust survivors, I grew up with the sensitivity knowing that our people did not always have rights to vote, to participate freely in a democracy. To me, it's a sacred obligation and a sacred right to participate in society by voting.
I just think voting is my civic responsibility. That, I guess as a social worker, definitely, you know, I feel that I'm responsible for, you know, speaking up if there's some type of an injustice in the world. And I think that voting is our opportunity to speak to the things that are important to us as an individual, as a community, as a country. And if I don't exercise that, then I'm allowing other people to make decisions on my behalf.
I mean, they always say that voting is a civic duty, but I almost consider it among the responsibilities that every adult has. You know, we have to pay our bills, we've got to go to work, you know, we've got to vote. That's just on the list of things that people in society should do and feel proud that they're able to do.
Voting is important because it is one way that you exercise your right as a citizen in a democratic society. So voting is important because you are taking that responsibility seriously and you are willing to educate yourself enough to make an informed decision that you feel that you can stand by. And I think that is an important responsibility that any adult has in a democratic society such as ours.